think that content marketing world is explosive.
It's a really vibrant community of people that take what they do very seriously but have a lot of fun doing it.
Everywhere you turn, every topic you hear, every speaker you hear from, every person you meet has value.
The exhibition hall is incredible. It's a big conference, but it feels intimate at the same time.
There are just so many other little things and venues that you can branch off into, and so I've been excited to learn a little bit more about things like AI.
What I love is the creativity that comes with it.
It's amazing. There's so many speakers and so many sessions, it's hard to pick which one to go to next.
This is inspirational as well as very tactical, like what you can go home and do in your business tomorrow.
It's incredible. The quality and the scale are huge.
It's my 8th year. It's insane.
This is my 12th year. Coming to Content Marketing World, it changed my career.
We're all trying to create a melting pot within our own experiences and expertise. So seeing the transfer of knowledge kind of happen right in front of your face, it's just beautiful to witness. I mean, it's like a kid in a candy store. So
join us for Content Marketing World 2024, October 21st through the 23rd in San Diego.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday, everybody. It's Amanda with the Content Marketing Institute. We are back. Thanks for joining me for this Ask the CMWorld community live stream, where each time we dive into a new topic with an awesome member of our CMWorld community. And if you didn't know, this live stream is brought to you by the Content Marketing Institute. We are the leading training and education organization for, you guessed it, all things content marketing. So you can head over to contentmarketinginstitute.com for all kinds of resources and educational content. We have two really great research reports coming up. Our annual B2B report will be coming out next week, and then we have a video research report. So look for those coming out in the next few weeks. So we're glad to be back, but we are for sure still recovering from Content Marketing World. We had over 2,000 of our marketing friends join us for a really fantastic 3 days of learning in Washington, D.C. If you didn't join us, why not? Why weren't you there? But don't worry, you can still get access to all the great sessions. You can head over to contentmarketingworld.com and click on register now, and you can sign up for all the on-demand access to all the great sessions that we had at Content Marketing World. And if you didn't hear yet, we will be headed to San Diego next year. So we will be there in October. So mark your calendars now and see if you can get that budget from your boss to send you there. We'd love to see you join us in Las Vegas. So I see a lot of you already commenting here and joining us from all over. As always, give me a virtual wave. Let me know where you're joining us from. We have people from Phoenix, Indianapolis, all over. Avita, Jenny, Janine, Michelle, Ailey Judge. Hello, Ailey Lee was there last week as well. Stacy, hello everyone. So let's get the ball rolling with our question of the day. Do you have a content marketing strategy? How's it going? We've been talking about this for years. And my guest today, Robert Rose, has been drilling this for years. But how is your content marketing strategy? If you have one, if you don't have one, why not? If you do, what are some of your biggest challenges? We'd love to hear from all of you and share them as we go along today. All right. Do you know how to turn the attention your content receives into a little bit of moolah? Content marketing is one of the most common pieces of the marketing plan, but many businesses do not approach it strategically. So today we're going to share some new info on a new model that will transform and optimize your content marketing by harnessing the power of your brand's voice. And of course, joining me today to talk about it is the one and only Robert Rose, the Chief Strategy Advisor of the Content Marketing Institute, and the author, of course, of a brand new book, which we're talking about today, Content Marketing Strategy. So we will be chatting about that. Hello, Robert. How are you today?
I am doing fantastic, Amanda. How are you?
I'm well. We just talked about we've recovered finally from content marketing world. Before we start, we were there last week, 2 weeks ago. It just wrapped up. What's your take on the event? What were some of the the status of content marketing? What were you hearing? The common theme or challenges among marketers that were there last week, 2 weeks ago?
Sure. Well, not to belabor our wonderful theme, but it felt very much like an evolution. So the theme of the event was evolve, and it very much felt like that. It was a new city for us, Washington, D.C., first time ever outside of Ohio, but then also, really the other than one event previous to that, always in Cleveland, and a new city. Lots and lots and lots of new voices in terms of the speakers that we had and featured, as well as the number of new attendees, which I think had to do a little bit with the new city, as well as the ease of travel, et cetera. Cleveland was always an amazing place, but Washington, D.C. did provide us with sort of an evolution, if you will, of where the event is going. And I think from a theme standpoint, of course, AI was prevalent. We talked a lot about AI. A lot of the people that were there were speaking and challenged and worrying about and thinking about how generative AI is going to change the nature of content marketing. But I think overall, I would point to measurement, sort of the evolution of where content marketing now is in the broader scope of marketing. And in my keynote, I certainly talked about how this idea is that, in many ways, content marketing has become the core backbone of what just digital and regular marketing is these days. And I think the sort of the differences in the way that we measure our success or measure our progress, that was a key theme that I saw in so many of the presentations, whether it was first party data, whether it was, more success, revenue, different kinds of value that the business gets now from marketing in an evolved strategy.
Well, along those lines, evolving, this is your third book, I believe.
Fourth book.
I'm sorry.
Can you imagine?
Fourth book. So what's different about this one? And who is this book for?
So there's absolutely nothing different about this book. Thank you very much and good night. And no, look, the word, I ask actually in the book, does the world need another content marketing book? But what I had found was, and even to the extent of the three others that I've written on the topic, with, two of which with my friend Joe Polizzi, the focus on content marketing happens to mostly be on the first two words, right? So the books and the thought leadership and the education component of it tends to be either on how do we create better, wonderful, more amazing content, or how do we perform marketing in a content marketing type of fashion? So it focuses on those first two words. And what I wanted to do was write a book about the third word, and specifically sort of, if I stand on the shoulders of giants here for a moment, so Michael Porter talks about defining strategy as the activities that a business performs and the fit, sort of fitting together like Lego bricks, of all the activities that a business performs in order to create competitive advantage. And so content marketing is no different there. It is a set of activities, a different set of activities that the business performs: teams, charters, purpose, organizational, workflow, governance, all the sexy things, all of these activities that a business performs in order to create a competitive advantage with its strategy. And so that was really the source of the book and where I really wanted to focus.
Well, as you mentioned, because you also talked about it in your keynote, that, content is now marketing. So how should the new reality change an organization's approach to their marketing?
It's so for so long, and this goes to some of the, what's been out there in the world of content marketing, not necessarily from CMI, but from other places, where one of the biggest challenges that we see brands making when they start their content marketing journey is they look at it as marketing like a media company would, right? And so this whole idea of saying, hey, we need to behave and look like a media company. We need to act like a media company. And in many ways, what we conflate that with is marketing or selling like a media company would. So we sell our content, or we sell, we market our content much like a media company, or the way that we think a media company would. And that's not the difference, right? That's not where the differentiation is created. That acting like a media company is one thing, but the key is operating like a media company, treating content as the strategic asset, building audiences as one of the key assets that we can build in our portfolio as a strength and competitive advantage of the company. So it's really about how do we operate like a media company, not how do we market like one. And that's the key difference. And it's the shift that we see so many marketing organizations making, right? Where it is getting good, at digital asset management, getting good at having a process around the creation, ideation, management, and activation of content. The idea of the activities around the skill sets around audience development and using first-party data, all of those are content marketing activities that formulate sort of an operational idea. And that's the real difference that we see the successful companies having today, where the ones that are struggling don't.
All the non-sexy stuff, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's not, it's a little bit like you got to go, you got to go build the foundational activities, because ultimately that we see so many times, businesses, they'll have a content team, they've got somebody focused on this. They've got some people that are really built to, to do this kind of thought leadership, inspiring, entertaining, engaging content, but they can't keep up, because the demand from the business means that there's simply an on-demand vending machine of stuff, of just widgets, content widgets. And so there's no leading strategy there. There's no consistency. There's no differentiation in what it is you're doing, because all that creativity gets tamped down, and basically it just becomes a factory of content. And that's the biggest difference, is in order to become and give ourselves the bandwidth to have that creativity and that ability to do innovative, cool, interesting things, content has to be a leading strategy. It has to be a functional part of our business. Otherwise, you just don't have the time to do it, because there's too much pressure to produce more crap.
Right, which is what we're seeing a glut of out there, right? One of the big things for content marketing is getting the C-suite to understand everything that you're doing, you just talked about, and how it contributes to the value of the business. So does this new approach, or does this make it any easier, harder?
It's hard. No, it's extraordinarily difficult, because, and this is something I talk about a bit in the book, and it gets really easy on a live video or in a, workshop, or just go do it. Go tell your boss to go do it. But the problem is that senior leadership, content and content strategy in a business is, what we call a wicked problem. And I didn't just adopt a business or a Boston accent there, but it's a wicked problem in the sense that wicked problems are described in social planning, a lot in civic planning, as problems that can't be solved until they're tried to be solved. In other words, you can't really solve those problems until you actually try and solve them. And so they're so hard to see, right? Because of what it is, how deeply embedded we are in a particular area. So in many cases, you've got marketers, smart, creative content people saying to the boss, we need to do this. We need to, we need to get organized, get our arms around, make content a strategy, et cetera. And the CEO basically responds with, well, wait a minute. Is content getting created? Well, yeah. Are we creating engaging content? Sometimes, yeah. Are we measuring some of it? Yeah. Then what's the problem? And the problem is that you run right up into this level of mediocrity before you can reach that. And it's like you can't break through that. So it's almost the situation where you have to sort of look at it as, how do I convince the boss that the operation is worth creating, that foundation is worth creating, because that will give us the ability to create this sort of differentiating stuff, the creative, wonderful, innovative stuff that's going to take us beyond, what our competitors are doing. And that's just, I make no bones about it. It is a difficult decision. And hopefully the book offers some ideas for framing that argument in a much more compelling way.
But I found what interesting, you talk about, there's the companies that have consciously set out with their content marketing strategy, and other ones that haven't done it, maybe haven't even heard of a content marketing strategy. Can I kind of talk about those two differences?
Yeah, and that's where it comes down to, right? This was really one of the biggest inspirations for the book was there are these, conscious content marketers, right? Those of whom businesses that have read the books, who we know have come to our events, who we know have studied the best practices, who we know have designed specifically their marketing to be more content marketing. And we talk about them all the time, right? The Red Bulls, the Cleveland Clinics, these are companies that we see out there designing. REI is another one, designing programs around this idea of thought leadership, engaging content, and doing those things. But then there are what I call the unconscious content marketers, and we know them too, right? The Amazons, with Amazon Prime Video, or Microsoft with their acquisition of LinkedIn and GitHub, or big, JP Morgan Chase with the acquisition of Zagat Guide, all of these big companies that are making acquisitions and becoming and operating like media companies. And if you ask them, and I have in many cases, I've asked them and they go, no, it's just a smart business strategy. Operating like a media company and getting direct access to audiences is just a smart, that's called something? That's, so they don't even know that it's called content marketing per se. They just know that it's a smart strategy. The commonality between those two kinds of companies are the strategic operating like a media company benefits that they're enjoying, whether or not they've looked at us or anybody else as a means of designing those things.
I have a comment here, and I hope I can pull it up and read it because sometimes it makes it hard. We're talking to Robert Rose about his new book, Content Marketing Strategy. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in here. So Mary Irene says, content should be treated as a strategic asset used in marketing vehicles to create competitive advantage. In order to do right, content being produced has to provide value to the community. I have a content team, I have to pull it off here, experts and producers who are intimately involved in our trade and with the community. This is key, and you guys are spot on. So yes, thank you for sharing that.
100%. Yeah, that's summed up very well. Is exactly right.
All right, as marketing and content sort of converge, it makes that collaboration we were talking about earlier among siloed functions much more essential and more complex. So what can content leaders do to sort of facilitate the necessary conversations we need to have about the processes? Yeah,
I mean, and again, it comes back to this is the unsexiest part of all of this, but, and in my, my little tweetable moment is, and I say it a lot, which is, 90% of content strategy has nothing to do with content. It has everything to do with internal collaboration and internal communication. And so at the end of the day, one of the things that I often get asked is, what content is such a big word. It's such a big idea. It sort of encapsulates everything that we do in the business. How do you even get your arms around it? Well, of course we can, because we can limit it, right? We can limit it to marketing, or we can limit it to thought leadership, or we can limit it to content for the customer experience. We can put boundaries around it where we want to try and tackle the organization. The key, however, is in content. Basically, at the end of the day, the synonym for content is communication. It is how a business communicates. And so coordination of that communication is the most important function. As I say in the book, the content team's job is not to be good at content. The content team's job is to make the business good at content. So that means it needs to be as much an activation organization, a teaching organization, a leading organization, a standards-based organization, as it is also good at putting words and pictures, et cetera, together. And that, by the way, is the definition of how and why AI will be most valuable to a particular business in its content marketing approach, is because it gives us the enhanced capability to create common themes, common standards, common practices across a business not just create, sexy versions of, 19 different headlines. So it is that cross collaborative work that is so important in making content consistent and scalable in any business. I don't care if you're 1 or 100 people in your business. That's the key.
All right, Robert. So much in this book. You have a website. I'm assuming people can get the book at the usual spots.
Yes, yes, you can. You can get it at the usual spots. Of course, your favorite online bookstore. Apparently, some offline bookstores. I don't even know what that means anymore. But you can also get it, of course. And then, yes, we do have a. Thank you for mentioning it. I have a wonderful website. So throughout the book, I reference templates or deeper dives or other kinds of frameworks that I didn't have space for in the book. And I created a website with free access to those templates and guidelines, et cetera. And that's at contentmarketingstrategy.com. Funny how that works out. Paid a lot of money for that URL, by the way, so go use it.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, and so got the URL, so contentmarketingstrategy.com. And it's also where we have launched our coaching business. We are now doing executive and practitioner level coaching, which can be had right there as well. So if anybody's interested in coaching, you can get it. You can get it at that website too.
Someone's asking about an audio book.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. I'm struggling a little bit with that. Publishers, for those of you who have published books or know about publishing books, that publishers can tend to be a little old school. I don't know that audiobooks are necessarily old school, but let's just put it this way. I'm working through it. So yes, at some point I'm working through it.
So look for that, Jamie. He will hopefully have that up for you at some point.
At some point. I'm working on it. I'm working hard on it.
A couple people
bringing them into the 20th century.
A couple people have asked about this recording. You can watch it just on this link at a later time. And before I go, Robert, CMI announced a super exciting partnership with the American Marketing Association at Content Marketing World the other week. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, and it goes along with the theme that and this is really the backbone theme of the book, which is that content marketing is now marketing. So it's something that we've been working on for a long time, which was doing something wonderful with the American Marketing Association. I've been a member for 30 years, and so I've always wanted to do something with them because I admire the work that they do. And of course, one of the most important things that they do is certification and proper certification, right? Where you can go get certified in digital marketing and other elements of marketing. And so we wanted to create a true certification program. And so we partnered with the AMA to create a certification program for content marketing leadership. And so the backbone of that course is my new content. It's what we usually put up in Content Marketing University, but it's brand new for 2024. It's launching, I think, in the next couple of weeks, although there's a place now where you can go. You can actually go sign up for, getting access to it. And it's got, the full-on certification from the AMA associated with it, where you can get fully certified as what we're calling a content marketing leader. Yep.
So there is the link. CMI.media/certification. You can sign up there and let you know when everything's live and ready to go, which will be soon. Again, Content Marketing World, you can still get on-demand access as well. Just head over to contentmarketingworld.com, click on register, and you can go there as well. Thank you, Robert. Excuse me for joining me. Thank you, everyone, for comments as well today. We'll be back for a few more times till the end of the year. We have Jay Bear coming up in a couple weeks. So
Jay.
Yeah, right. I brought out the big.
You got to get the tequila out for that. Yeah.
I know. Don't drink tequila. Maybe he will. Actually, that would make for a more interesting interview, right?
Oh, well, yeah, it could.
All right. Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you to everyone who joined us. Get Robert's book, sign up for the certification. You won't regret it. All right. Thanks, everyone. See ya.
All right.